Ah, sequels. Everybody loves a good Godfather Part 3 or Grease 2, the greasening. But I'm here to talk about board game sequels, sometimes called reimplementations or redevelopments. These are more than just simple reskins. These are games that are a new version of a previously existing game, but change some things up, and I'm here to talk about my 10 favorite sequels from 2022. Let's start with number 10, which is Sky Mines. This is a redevelopment on one of my favorite games of all time, Mombasa by Alexander Pfister, so of course I had to make the list. At number 10, because I think that while it's great, there's some graphical design nitpicks, there's some big picks that I have with it, but it's still a fantastic game. It's available now in this nicer theme and more accessible to people, that it's out and published and stuff now, so I'm excited about that. This takes Mombasa and also gives you a B-side to the board where you're taking shuttles between various asteroids instead of just the moon. You have some extra modules and a very manageable to run solo mode that I think is pretty good and challenging. So my number 10, Sky Mines. Number 9, Outnumbered Improbable Heroes. This is a fun children's math game. It's a rehash on an earlier version of it called City of Zombies, I believe. That one was very hard to find. Outnumbered is now accessible from Genius Games Kids. This is a fun one. You roll some dice, use math manipulation, take those numbers, and make them equal the different numbers of villain cards attacking the city. You're superheroes with special powers, a fun cooperative math drill kind of exercise game, but still a very fun cooperative game, so that's why it's my number 9, Outnumbered. Number 8, Libertalia Winds of Galecrest. Based clearly on the original Libertalia, this has some really good mechanical revamps in it that I think are very good. The order track, the tiebreaker associated with that, more cards, more card abilities. I think that's great. But also, a surprisingly really fun solo mode. Winds of Galecrest takes Libertalia, which I did not think would work as a solo game, and makes it very fun. I really would recommend it. And so, yeah, there you go. I think that is what makes it fit very nicely on this list at number 8, Libertalia Winds of Galecrest. At 7, Star Wars Jabba's Palace. This is a love letter game, and this is basically a love letter, but in the structure, the turn structure of the game. But I really like that you have two different factions of cards. You have the Rebels and you have the Jabba Loyalists, and those play into some new card abilities that I think are really clever. There's some reworkings of existent cards and a couple of new things like the Rancor that you've never seen before. Makes this a very fun love letter game. So Star Wars Jabba's Palace. Number 6. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. I forgot to number my list, but number 6, Caesar. Seize Rome in 20 minutes. This is a follow-up to Blitzkrieg, World War II in 20 minutes. These games both live up to their name. They give you a tactical, war-themed experience, but in 20 minutes. And I think this one uses the token pull from Blitzkrieg in a really nice new way, where the board is kind of like dots and boxes, where you're trying to close in different areas to get the bonuses, but whoever has more control, more number strength in the area, gets to put out their victory marker there. It's a race to 12 points. This is so great, so fast. Also an amazing solo game. Probably my most played solo game of the year. Number 6, Caesar, Seize Rome in 20 minutes. Number 5, Takaido Duo. 2 sequels to Takaido came out this year. I'm using Takaido Duo over Namiji. I think Namiji is a perfect, almost one-to-one analog to Takaido. Takaido Duo has 3 characters per player, and he uses a dice drafting mechanism, and I feel like those little nice additions really elevates this game. You have someone moving around the track, you have someone moving around from ports on inside lines, and then the artist is moving around in the negative space, or the space between the different lines, moving into these different regions. I think it takes a lot of the nice cues from Takaido and puts it into a newer game that I have a lot of fun with. Number 4, Caper Europe. This took the original Caper, which was up to 4 players, says, no, this is just a 2-player game, and I think it worked really well that way. Got some fun little tug-of-war push and pull going on. You're trying to set collect with cards, set collect with the different loot items that you can steal, and this makes for a great 2-player head-to-head drafting game. There's 2 different types of cards you're drafting, alternating rounds. The production on it is gorgeous from Keymaster Games, so overall, Caper Europe, amazing sequel, and that's why that's my number 4. Number 3, Longshot, the dice game. This is a roll and write version of the original Longshot, but it's a roll and write, and it does the modern things, the modern aspects of roll and write games really well, but also has a central board where different horses are racing around and it's so exciting. It gives you a nice visual centerpiece, unlike most roll and write games. So it really has that Longshot horse racing game feel, while also giving you little checks and boxes and stuff. I think that is really good. So my number 3, Longshot, the dice game. Number 2, Return to Dark Tower. If you want to talk about most improved, likely from the original Dark Tower, to this one, this might be the most improved sequel. Restoration Games does not mess around. They really elevate the games. That they take your nostalgia and they put it into a really solid game. Fun cooperative game. The Dark Tower in the middle of the board is very useful. It does get in the way. You have to look around it and stuff. They have little nitpicks about that, but the app-driven game, cooperative game, so good, so much fun. This is one that's actually grown on me as time has gone by. Number 2, Return to Dark Tower. And then my number 1 sequel of the year, Splendor Duel. I think that this one is just a really impressive, compact design. It takes a lot of ideas from the original Splendor, puts it into... I love that little 2-player package, the 2-player revamp, where you have more head-to-head decisions. It gives you a lot more stress and tension, but in the good, fun kind of way than Splendor for me ever had. It feels like a game that has almost an expansion's worth of ideas cooked right into the basic game. I love that idea of when do you refill the board, when do you give your opponent little extra privilege tokens, which give them extra actions, but you're going to benefit yourself if you refill the board first. So many good decisions went into this game. My number 1 sequel of the year, maybe not by and far, but for sure, Splendor Duel. And there you go. Those are my top 10 sequels. Hope that you enjoy the rest of the Winter Spectacular. Have yourselves a fantastic time.